Good afternoon, girls. Girls, yesterday I started the chapter 8 quadrilaterals, and in my yesterday's video, I had explained you what is a quadrilateral, how many sides it has, how many angles, how many vertices it has. Then I also discussed with you the different shapes of the quadrilateral. Types of quadrilateral, I had shown you what is a trapezium, what is a kite, and what is a parallelogram. Okay, now quickly, we will revise the types of quadrilaterals. And you know that parallelogram has maximum number of properties and most of them are used in the questions, right? So we are going to discuss that once again quickly and then we are going to proceed with types of parallelograms, right? Now you know that this is a trapezium. Types we are studying now. A, B, C, D is a trapezium because it has one pair of parallel sides. I told you yesterday also that AB is parallel to CD and AD and BC are the non-parallel sides. Okay, then in kite, I told you a kite is also a quadrilateral. Yes, A, B, C, D, in which these consecutive pairs are equal. So we can write AB is equal to BC, this pair, and AD is equal to uh, DC or CD. Here, one pair of parallel sides, other two are non-parallel sides. Here, this consecutive pair is equal and this pair is equal. Now, next was, and I hope you've written these definitions and I've drawn the figures in the notebook. Then I told you what is a parallelogram. In a parallelogram, I told you there are maximum properties in a parallelogram A, B, C, D. Firstly, AB, we are discussing properties once again. AB is parallel to CD, right? And AB is also equal to CD. So we can say that opposite sides are equal and parallel. Similarly, we can write AD is parallel to BC, right? And also AD is equal to BC. Okay, now the next part. Angle A is equal to angle C, means opposite angles in a parallelogram are equal. So therefore, second part will be B will be equal to angle D, right? Then, in the third property, we can write this: diagonals intersect at O. Okay, so we can write AC and BD intersect at O and they bisect each other. Yes, so we will write the third property of the parallelogram is diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. And what does this mean? It means that AO is equal to OC and OB is equal to OD, right? Okay, one more property, fourth one is adjacent angles are supplementary. Okay, when I say adjacent angles, I told you yesterday what are adjacent angles and what are adjacent sides. Then over here, angle A plus angle D will be equal to 180 degree, right? Angle A plus angle B will be also equal to 180 degree. So any two adjacent angles you can take and we can say that the adjacent angles in a parallelogram are supplementary. If you take this combination, it will be B plus C equals to 180. If you take C and D, C plus angle D is equal to 180 degree. So any two adjacent pair of angles are supplementary. Okay, now if you have not written these properties in your notebook, children, please write it down and learn them by heart. And then we will have theorems after this. Now, coming to the types of parallelograms. When I say types of parallelograms, the first one is rhombus. Okay. Now, why is rhombus a parallelogram? A, B, C, D. You know what is a rhombus? A rhombus is a quadrilateral which has four sides and all the four sides are equal. Yes, okay. Now, since in a parallelogram also opposite sides are equal, okay. In rhombus also opposite sides are equal. Therefore, and the diagonals. Okay, so the two properties of the rhombus are all the sides are equal, right? When I say all the sides are equal, obviously opposite sides are also equal. Then number two, diagonals bisect each other at right angles. The properties of parallelogram fit for rhombus, okay, or we can say that yes, we know that the opposite sides in a parallelogram are equal. So here also opposite sides are equal. Here the diagonals are bisecting each other. In parallelogram also the diagonals are bisecting each other. So therefore these properties match with the parallelogram. Hence rhombus is also one parallelogram. Okay. Next. I hope this is clear to you. How will you define rhombus? A rhombus is a quadrilateral with four equal sides. And why is rhombus a parallelogram? Because opposite sides of the rhombus are equal as well as diagonals bisect each other. And we can say simply that the properties of rhombus are same as the properties of the parallelogram. Okay. Next is rectangle. Rectangle. You know how a rectangle look like? You have so many times you have drawn this figure. Okay, now coming to the next. Why is rectangle a parallelogram? Firstly, we say that rectangle is a quadrilateral because it has four sides. Now, P, Q, R, S. When we talk about rectangle, children, you know that in this rectangle, opposite sides are equal, right? So, PQ is equal to RS, right? Then PS is equal to QR. This is one property of rectangle which matches with parallelogram. Then, second, each angle in a right angle, is 90 degree. Yes, each angle is a right angle. Now, when I say that each angle is a right angle, it means that when you take any two adjacent angles, suppose P plus angle S, it is equal to 180. So therefore we can say that the adjacent angles in a rectangle, because they are supplementary, and adjacent angles in a parallelogram are also supplementary. So this property also matches with, is same as that of parallelogram. Hence rectangle is a parallelogram. Okay. What is the third property which goes with the parallelogram? Diagonals. Diagonals bisect each other. Yes, and you also know that because you've done this before also, diagonals in a rectangle are equal. Okay, then so you have opposite sides equal, opposite sides are parallel also, because when these two angles are supplementary, these lines will become parallel. So opposite sides are equal and parallel. Then each angle, because it is a right angle, so the adjacent angles are supplementary. Okay. And the third one is diagonals bisect each other. They are also equal in length. So why is rectangle a parallelogram? You can compare the properties of parallelogram and rectangle and then you will be able to understand. Then the third one is square. The third one is square. So let's quickly revise the properties of a square. In a square, opposite sides are equal, or we can say actually all the four sides are equal, but since we are comparing it with the parallelogram ABCD, if you wait, this is looking like a rectangle. When you say that all the four sides are equal in a square, obviously the opposite sides are equal as well as parallel. Here also each angle is a right angle. Yes, since each angle is a right angle, then what will happen? Adjacent angles will be supplementary, ABCD. So we can write AB is equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to DA. Okay. Then first point. Second point is uh, each angle is a right angle. Yes, each angle is a right angle. Therefore, angle A plus angle B, angle D, AB or AD, any two adjacent angles will always be supplementary. Then talking about these sides, AB is also parallel to CD. You know why? Because if these two angles are these are straight lines, and these two angles are supplementary. So when you talk about these two lines, this becomes a transversal, co-interior angles become supplementary, and because they are supplementary, these lines will be parallel. Okay, so therefore this property, second property, and the third property, as well as one more, diagonals in a square. Okay, diagonals, again we will say they bisect each other. Yes, and they are actually perpendicular to each other. Yes, and they are equal in length. So we have quite common properties of these similar to parallelogram, and that is why rhombus, rectangle and square is a parallelogram. Now we can also compare, like, why is trapezium is a parallelogram, or is parallelogram a trapezium? So all these type of questions can be asked. I will write it down on a piece of paper and I will give it to you. You can find answers to those. And if you don't understand, then you can ask me. Okay. Now, so we have done today what is a trapezium. We have done what is a kite. Then we have done a parallelogram. Then we have also done the types of parallelogram, which is one is rhombus, one is rectangle, and one is square. So you will write all the properties of these quadrilaterals in your notebook, learn them by heart, and then we are going to now study what are the properties of some uh, other properties of quadrilaterals. Okay, now when I talk about simple quadrilateral ABCD, this ABCD, angle A, angle B, angle C, angle D. Okay, angle A plus angle B plus angle C and angle D is how much? Equal to 360 degree. Okay, this you've done before also. So this is known as angle sum property of a quadrilateral. Okay, so this is one property. Then I have also explained you the different properties of what? Parallelogram. Now in the next we have, in the next part of the chapter we have, children, the properties of the parallelogram, and in the form of theorems. Okay, in the form of theorem. This is angle sum property of a quadrilateral. Like if three angles are given to you, okay, you can find the fourth angle. Now in the next part we have uh, the properties of the parallelogram. Then these properties of the parallelogram have been explained here in the form of theorems. Like the first one is the diagonal of a parallelogram divides it into two congruent triangles. Okay, we are going to study this. Then in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. You have done this. Then the next theorem is, if each pair of opposite sides of the quadrilateral is equal, then it is a parallelogram, right? So this is a converse of the previous theorem. In the parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. All these properties we've just now discussed. If in a quadrilateral, each pair of opposite angles, if each pair of opposite angles are equal, then it is a parallelogram. Then the diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. If the diagonals of the quadrilateral bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. So these are some of the theorems which we are going to study in the next. That is why tomorrow I am going to explain you. Today what you do, you will write these properties of the types of parallelograms, learn them by heart. Okay, and I am going to take out some questions and I will send it to you in the WhatsApp group. You solve them, write it down with proper reasons. If you have any doubt, children, you can ask me. Okay, now see that you study hard, study well, and be regular in your work. Don't just waste your time, and Any doubts you have regarding any previous chapters also you can ask me. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.